Subscribe to the channel. Thanks. r/AskReddit. People w/plastic surgery, do you regret it, or are you happy with your decision? Oh, I actually wrote a paper back in college about this. I interviewed 16 Asian women on their thoughts on plastic surgery as well as their relationship with their parents, if that impacted their decisions to get/not get plastic surgery. Out of the 16, 3 had plastic surgery already. We'll call them A, B and C. Eyes, nose, vehemently denies it, even though it's relatively common knowledge, since she went to finishing school for a year and came back looking radically different. She didn't have a crease above her eyes or a nose bridge before the finishing school, had them after. Out of respect for her feelings, I didn't pursue the topic. B. Eyes. Regretted it since she became a feminist and political activist in college. Felt very embarrassed about the fact that she talks about Asian pride while she had the eyelid surgery to remove a distinctly Asian feature. Deeply regrets it, since her mom was the one who forced her into it. She went to the doctor, thinking she was going to a dermatologist. The doctor started talking about surgery and she ran out freaked out. Her mom dragged her back in, yelled at her, and told her she's ugly and needed to fix her eyes. She succumbed to the pressure and did it. Her mom took her to Vietnam, so I guess patient consent may be sketchy in some clinics. Still hates her mom for it. She had a traumatic surgery too, where stitches popped afterwards. C. Eyes. Her mom was the one who told her to do it too, and according to her, it's the best thing she ever did to me. Craziest interview I had. Most awesome quote. Sometimes, you need someone to tell you you're ugly, and that's where your mom comes in. Like, I'll be gaining so much weight, but I'm in denial and no one points it out. My mom would just go, "Oh my god, you look like a balloon." And I'll be, "Oh my god, you're right." And then I go diet and fix the problem. She wants to do her nose next, but her BF, now her husband, threatened a breakup if she did any more plastic surgery. I got into the paper because I grew up with my parents telling me I needed surgery to fix my eyes. I have the Asian eyelid. I know it's relatively common for traditional Asian parents from Asia to do that, so I wanted to know just how common it was. The Asian American women I interviewed were all against plastic surgery, but my sample size is still too small. N equals 8. The Asian women from Asia I interviewed, N equals 8, were international students from Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore, and Japan. 1 had dual nationality. 5 grew up in 2 different Asian countries. One of the Asian women from Asia gave me the best quote. "I don't think the eyelid surgery counts as surgery. It's something every girl has to go through, like dyeing your hair. I was born a stick thin girl who happened to have a huge ass. Like, it was the only big thing about me. And it was huge. It got me a lot unwanted attention from men as a teenager, and people would make fun of me at school, and the negative attention and creepy positive attention genuinely made me want to kill myself. I was so shy and just wanted to blend into the crowd, not be sexualized by strangers. So when I was 17, I wrote a letter to my mom about how depressed I was about my body, and I was too afraid to give it to her, and hid it in my desk, where my dad found it, and my mom talked to me about it. So the summer before my last year of high school, I wound up getting liposuction on my ass, hips, and thighs. Not much, but enough that I don't get the catcalls and unwanted attention anymore. I feel more comfortable in my own skin. The guys I've been naked around have never noticed my super tiny scars, even after I've told them about the procedure. The only thing that sucked was the garment I had to wear under my clothes for a few months. It was hard going to school and that, but yeah, I'm 1,000,000% satisfied. Had male breast reduction surgery when I was 15. Apparently one of the most common cosmetic surgeries, but still has a stigma of embarrassment around it, which is a shame, because it completely changed me for the better. My confidence boosted tenfold, and I have zero regrets. Would do it again in a heartbeat. Now a normal non-man-breasted 26-year-old with a great trivia fact about myself. The only shameful thing is that it wasn't covered by insurance. I had a few scary spots on my back when I was about 13. When I got them removed, my mom told the doctors to go ahead and get rid of the birthmark that was located on my left butt cheek. I guess she thought it was big, but I kinda liked it. It was shaped like a perfect leaf, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyways, they took it, and it left a scar that kinda looks like someone took a small bite out of my ass. There was just a big dent for a long time. It's still a dent, but not as big. Hopefully it goes away eventually. I'm not happy with it. I have a dent in my ass, and I miss my leaf birthmark. I totally regret it. Had a breast enlargement. Surgeon ended up making me bigger than I wanted, which may also be exacerbated by the part where I lost 20 pounds after surgery, so they are even bigger in relation. I went from a small B to a D/DD depending on the bra. I hate the attention. I hate how clothes fit, because you can't wear anything loose without looking like a cow. Plus I now have back and neck pain. I will have them removed or reduced as soon as I have the money. I'm actually having plastic surgery in a few months. When I was a freshman in high school, I broke my nose playing basketball and actually dislocated my septum. It healed badly and now I have a lot of breathing problems and it's also pretty crooked. Think one standard deviation away from Owen Wilson. When they go in to fix the septum, they are going to do a bit of cosmetic work and straighten and smooth it out. Obviously I can't tell if I'm going to regret it yet as I haven't had it, but I can say that when I tell people I'm having it done they all tell me it's not necessary and that I look fine the way I am, which is nice, but a bit annoying. Hopefully the surgery will go well and I'll look like I did 8 years ago before my nose got smashed in. I had PRK surgery about 6 years ago. It was considered cosmetic as I didn't have astigmatism or corneal erosions or anything. It was incredibly painful, and since then my eyes are a lot more sensitive. Things like cutting onion and chili is very difficult now, and I get very itchy eyes during hay fever season. But I went from a prescription of I think about -6 to 0. I couldn't see farther than about 4 inches in front of my face without glasses. I wore contact lenses, but hated that I could never be spontaneous. Things other people take for granted, like staying at a friend's house overnight, jumping into a pool without thinking about it, learning to surf, or rolling over and looking at my partner first thing in the morning. I can do those things now. I don't have to switch between sunglasses and prescription glasses. I don't have to pay for new frames and lenses every few months, or whatever. I feel free in a way I wasn't before, but it wasn't a pain-free process, and it comes with its own set of negatives. Still, I'm so glad I did it. I've had a perineoplasty to correct some scar tissue from having kids that made sex very painful, and the recovery wasn't something I would wish on my worst enemy. It was awful, but no more pain having sex, so it was worth it. I also ended up having a abdominalplasty and boob job. I have a petite frame and my 3 kids were huge. They destroyed my stomach muscles and I ended up looking about 4 months prego 4 years. I tried working with a trainer to help my stomach but nothing was helping, and I was in physical therapy for back pain. They ended up sewing my stomach muscles back together and went ahead and tightened the skin. We figured while we were in there I would go ahead and get the boobs done. Before kids I was a full B, now I'm a full C. I'm beyond happy about my stomach even with a scar. I don't have any more back pain and I feel so much better now just wearing clothes. The boobs I could take or leave. They look great in clothes, but I'm still getting used to them. It's been 9 months. My husband loves them, so I'm happy about that. My best friend had a facelift in her late 30s. I think she made a terrible decision. She complained for a long time about her face sagging and would constantly do somewhat of a duck face, but like cheek biting face in pictures. Still does it, but not to the same degree. I think there is a lot more to it psychologically than just fixing her face. Anyways, turns out she was severely allergic to the dissolving stitches which caused the wounds next to the earlobe to become infected. You could see the scarring, but it was nothing all that bad. I mean, not the extent it is now. Anyways, she was really self-conscious about the scarring, so she decided she would go in and have them redo the procedure. They redid it, and it left with a huge stretch mark across her cheek, and stretched her face to the point it looks as though she has not cheek definition. I can't really explain, but it sure looks odd. The worst part of it though, because there was not enough skin to attach to the side of her ear and earlobe, they stretched the earlobe so much so that on one side her face is essentially attached to her earlobe, that is attached to her jaw. The other side is bad but nothing like the other. It's called pixie ears. She's super self-conscious about it and wears her hair in front of it all the time, and it looks terrible. All in all, she looks thinner because of her face, but you can really notice the fatter left, and the ear thing makes you pay attention to it so much more. It's odd and makes me feel uncomfortable, especially because I notice other people looking at it and how uncomfortable she gets. Let's just say I think it was a terrible decision on her part. I've had 16 plastic surgeries, the majority of which would be classed as cosmetic. I was born with a congenital melanocytic nevus on half of my face and into my scalp region. 6 or so surgeries were done to do skin grafts, replacing the nevus with skin from my back and removing satellite nervuses, small and needy scattered like large moles. Later surgeries were to implant expanders and grow skin to replace the grafts and fix my hairline and brow region, as well as scar revisions and fat injections into my right brow, where I have no eyebrow/muscles. No regrets. It was a painstaking process, but I've reached a point where I'm happy with how I look. I don't fear what others think, and although I'll always look different, the surgeries have helped me gain control of my own identity and how I see myself as a person. Not me, but this girl I know had her nose done a year ago or so. I'm of the opinion that cosmetic surgery is understandable in some cases. It really made a difference for her because she really had a huge nose and it was obviously bothering her. So she had it redone, and to be completely honest, she was already attractive before, despite the big nose, and she is even more attractive now, partly due to the fact that her confidence and general demeanor has gone through the roof since. And the nose itself looks completely normal. If you didn't know she had surgery on it, you'd never guess. She's not afraid to talk about it and has clearly said that she's not interested in getting more surgery. Like I said, in some cases I think it's understandable, and in her case it seemed like a very positive experience. A good female friend had eyelid surgery. Before, she always looked tired and had large bags under her eyes. She found a surgeon that recommended the most minimal removal of excess skin from her eyelids and area under eyes. I was pleasantly surprised that the surgeon didn't go overboard, as he stated, "We don't want to change your looks, just make you look refreshed." Surgeon did a great job and my friend couldn't be happier. I have hair transplants. They're perfect. Nobody has ever been able to tell, even when I'm getting haircuts. I paid more than double what some guys pay, but it was worth it. Supposedly my drive. Also did Don Johnson's. Yes, I'm glad I got them. I asked a long-term girlfriend before if I was bald, would you have dated me? She said no. That's not to say some guys don't look great bald, but I didn't. I had a breast implants put in almost 2 years ago. It was one of the best decisions I've made. I had my children young, at 20 and 24. After breastfeeding, my breasts actually were smaller than before I had children, and were essentially pockets of skin. As silly as it may sound, it really wrecked my confidence. I didn't feel comfortable in form-fitting shirts or swimsuits. I found a really great doctor that I felt comfortable with and had my negative 34A cup enhanced to a full 34C. I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was with my body until after I had the surgery. For me, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If there is one piece of advice I could give to those considering plastic surgery, it would be to interview multiple doctors. Find someone that is talented and on the same page with you as to what you're looking for. I had facelift, lip implant, cheek implants, chin implant, brow shave, lip shortening, breast augmentation. All done at the same time. Also orchidectomy, but that wasn't cosmetic. I'm trans and was not passable, and the surgery basically improved my life 100-fold. I went from constantly fearful and inverted to sociable and happy. It pretty much saved my life. All this was done almost exactly a year ago. I had gynecomastia surgery when I was 26. One of the best decisions of my life. I used to walk hunched over, wear multiple layers of dark clothing, and never ever swam or changed in front of anyone. Seat belts, bag straps, and the wind. The wind pushed your clothes against you, showing damn and boobs were all enemies. The surgery was 1 hour long, and it has helped with my self-confidence and happiness to a great degree. Looking in the mirror is no longer a heart-plummeting affair. If any of the guys out there are thinking about it, take the plunge. It's worth it. I can answer any questions about the procedure. Yes, double jaw surgery. My top jaw didn't grow enough, my bottom jaw grew too much. This meant I had an extreme underbite and really struggled to bite/chew foods as well as jaw pain. On top of this, my face looked just strange, the proportions were all off. I was first told I needed surgery at 11, but had to wait until I had stopped growing at 18. I pretty much counted down the days. Best decision of my life. Everything changed. I could eat properly. I could breathe better. I was able to pronounce words more clearly and my face looked more correctly proportioned afterwards. It gave me confidence and I have zero regrets. During an anthropology class we were on the discussion of plastic surgery with a good majority of the students bashing it for whatever various reasons they have, when one of the girls in class piped up that she had breast augmentation done and her reasoning behind it. She said her chest was as flat as a preteen boy's and just wanted something to be there. She only upgraded to a bigger cup and wore somewhat reserved clothes. She really changed the perspective of a lot of students because she showed that plastic surgery can be good for people and not just a bunch of 40-year-olds desperate for another way to look young. I had a breast reduction at age 15, which is the opposite direction of the trend in America, which is where I live. I had to deal with a lot of really rude comments when I was that young, as well as a lot of unwanted advances, even from older men. The reduction left me with some scarring, but they faded, and I'm doing much better now. Previously I had trouble doing things like running, or even standing up straight. Now I feel awesome. Possible overshare, but I even got my nipples pierced, which draws more attention to that area when I happen to be nude, which I previously would have hated when with a partner. All of my boyfriends past and present have loved it. Subscribe. Thanks for watching UpGoat Reddit. Try like and subscribe button if it still works.